Hi Leos, and welcome to your December 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on. Very excited to be reading for you here in December. I feel such a kind of burst of wonderful download coming in with your sign. I'm not going to lie to you, Leos, it's been a hard month for tarot readings. It's a hard time to be someone in this field working with the collective because we have some very fragmented, very fractured energies coming in and trying to be resolved right now. But for your sign, I feel quite a bit more hopeful, and I feel that you are really figuring things out. I don't think that you're deceivable here. I don't think that you're tricked. I don't think that you have any false impressions of what things have been, are, or will be in your life. I don't think things are perfect. I don't think that you've quite got it figured out. I think there's a lot of BS here, honestly. But I also think that something that you're accomplishing, something that you are coming through with in December means more than perhaps anything that you've done in a long time. So let's consolidate all of this. Let's reconcile all of this. Let's figure some stuff out in intuitive messages followed by a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon, Leos. We're having a good time. It's going to be a fun reading. Okay, so intuitively for Leos, try to keep a record of what you don't like. Try to understand how things are changing. You have the Judgment card, the Empress, the Six of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles. Things can't afford to be heavy, dense, and irreconcilable in your life anymore. Okay, so I think you have the answers. I think that you have the feelings, the impulses in the right place. Now you've got to really be willing to put this stuff into real life, into writing, into action, and execute on what you know is your truth now. So firstly, I feel that there's a little bit of a separation in the Leo energy. So I'm feeling like two distinct groups. On one side, we have Leos who are having a major elevation in December, perhaps being promoted, graduating, having that aha moment. And then we have another group of Leos who have like way too much on their plate, way too much done for too little received. And it's also likely that there's like a sort of convergence. So you might have both. You might have on one hand this incredible elevation, and on the other hand, way too much in front of you, and way too much that you're dealing with that kind of distracts from the light and the brilliance of it. Maybe just on the outside, like maybe on the inside you totally feel it, like you're like, yes, this is like finally my life's calling coming into process here. But at the same time, it's like very Nine of Wands, 10 of Wands, even though those cards are not in your reading. So intuitively, I'm feeling, Leos, that December is going to be a big reference point for you. It's likely that you might walk across a stage here, or you might walk across, I don't know, the aisle, like walk down the aisle, maybe marriage, maybe it's engagement, maybe you're like walking across a border here. There's something of a major threshold, and that threshold means that those people who turned against you failed, or it means that people who tried to like prevent you or break you or harness you have failed. So this is like the best thing I've ever felt. And we're going to be talking about this in the 2023 year ahead video at length. Hit that subscribe button below, turn on those bell notifications to get notified when that video goes out. How you know as a Leo coming through December that you're on the right track is having some type of physical or even ritualized experience that reminds you that those who plotted against you, those who schemed against you have failed, okay? And that's really like the biggest point of hope here. And it's kind of unfortunate that that is the biggest point of hope because, I mean, wouldn't it be nice to believe in yourself or to believe in your momentum in a way that didn't rely on like the failure of others? But I mean, it's also really cool. It kind of reminds me of this Nessus trine South node that we're having in the sign Scorpio and Pisces. Check out the December comprehensive astrology video if you want to know more about that. But it's kind of like finally you prioritize you. Finally, you're not selling out. Finally, you're not on your knees to something that doesn't deserve you. Instead, you're like standing up here and you're zooming out. High possibility of a vacation or a sabbatical coming soon. Maybe not now, but in the future. Anything that can get you really cognizant of the absolute and total truth of your experience. So basically, Leo, the beginning of the month and up to the middle of the month through Sagittarius season feels very like day by day. It feels like hard work. Okay. And it feels like a lot of changes, and it feels like major arcana energy that changes your life. Okay. There's a big change though at around the midpoint of the month, as you move in the last part of Sag and through Capricorn. It's going to get very like, I don't know, it's just incredible. It's like you get things now, you have proven something to yourself. Your ego wounds have perhaps been healed by your own choices, or by your own stick-with-itness and commitment. And you start making decisions from a totally different place, or from a totally different standpoint. And this is like the best. It's like, oh my God, it feels so good, Leos. It feels so good. As a Leo rising myself, I'm like, this is what we've needed. To finally be making decisions from that empowered place, and to not be scared, okay? To not be afraid of poverty, to not be afraid of lack, to not be afraid, because now you are strong enough to not to worry about that stuff, and you know it, and you're not playing with you're not playing yourself anymore, okay? With these like false narratives, or these fear grids, where it's like, I'm afraid that if I don't do that work just like that, I will go into poverty. I am afraid that I don't have the ability to actually present myself or express myself in my most authentic way. All of that stuff is concluding. And yes, there is a likelihood also of like it stretching out like December to March. Like it might not just be December that all of this is fixed, but the headspace and the mental orientation by the end of the month is very different, and I love it. Try to remind yourself of what you've accomplished. Try to take your proof now. Try to take yourself back, or reclaim yourself here, just through showing up and just through being there for all of this. Because things haven't been done perfectly, like maybe, I wouldn't even think about it that much. Like nobody does things like perfectly, but you have done something here. There's something to be proud of. There's something to really like glow about. And I feel like your sign, as it prepares to step into the new year, has a lot more glowing to do, okay? And not hiding that, not feeling like that doesn't deserve to be out there. So yeah, Leo, there is, and this is like probably something I didn't even want to mention to you until like maybe January, even up towards March, but I think it has to be said now. There's a likelihood of having to show up in a different way, okay? So having to glow. So having to like show up as you, as your most authentic self, as your qualified self, as your soul self, instead of putting on a mask, instead of being someone you're not, okay? It takes guts. It takes, it takes a lot. And that may not quite be here yet, but I want to go ahead and prepare you for that. There's a big evolution and a big maybe revealing of who you really are that needs to happen in order to not feel like compromised in the way you have recently. Okay, well, lots of talk and intuitive messages. Let's talk about this week to week. Week number 1, the Judgment card rooted down by the Six of Swords. That is significant. Okay, you're crossing a threshold there. You're doing something there that changes you. It's like mutable fire energy, right? Sag season is so good for Leos because Leo's a fixed fire sign, and it can sometimes get stuck in a certain self-expression. And Sagittarius really helps Leo to understand how they can adapt to changing times. I think something needs an update, something needs an upgrade, something about like maybe your business or your brand or your livelihood or your appearance might need a total overhaul, but that's not to freak out about. This is actually starting to become very hopeful. And the hard work you've done, I think, will bear fruit for a long time. Now you have to walk with that fruit into the next expression of you. There's a big wake-up call, right, with the Judgment card. There's a big come to God moment. There's a big like, oh my gosh, I finally understand the formula, or I understand how I'm moving. However, there's also this kind of like Six of Swords thing that's like, okay, it's kind of makeshift, or it's kind of like I have to really, be prepared to cross this channel. And that's not always the easiest thing. Also a likelihood of moving, not now, but you might be thinking, okay, I have to move there, or I have to move in with that person, or whenever I see Six of Swords, sometimes I see it as people like moving in together. Careful with that. It seems like a weird time to do that, but it might be happening for some of you. Think about also like less housing costs. Okay, so moving in, having roommates, having other people around you. Even for some people moving back in with the family, I'm not saying that's right. I wouldn't want to be told that. But maybe that could really help you to get your expression right. It's like maybe having less of a rent bill or something. That's just a very mundane message coming in for you all. Week number 2, the Empress rooted down by the Nine of Pentacles. Wealth, inheritance, promotion, bonus, graduation. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love seeing it for you all. This is like the Leo combination, right? The Empress and the Nine of Pentacles. High likelihood of having new assets, having new resources, having new help in your life, having somebody who understands your image, understands your goals, your aspirations. This is very Leonine, right? Very solar. You got to get in the sun more too. Yellow is the color of 2023. So that's like sunlight, right? That's solar plexus and sacral. That's also very masculine energy. So hiding away in the dark, in the moonlight, is kind of getting like old. And I think that people have to think about how things come out into the light here. And it's nice to kind of think about it, especially if it's very wintry where you're at. Of course, I know people are watching from all different places. But if you're in like the cold, dark time of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, think about how things come to the light. Think about how things evolve out of the dark, out of the 2D, and how also you can really be, what do I want to say? It's almost like varnished or covered in these new, more honest, more truthful, more abundant ways. Is there a way that you can have more with less? Is there a way that you can spend less to have more? That is available for everybody who wants to kind of decode that. It's really cruel, like how much it costs to be independent right now. And so a lot of us have to get smart, right? And we have to understand ways that our independence can still be honored in new, more like breakthrough ways. Like I'm talking, this is not like thinking, okay, how do I get the roommates? How do I like, I don't know, move in with a partnership too fast because I want to save money? That is kind of indicated here. Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. We got to really find new breakthrough ways of, I don't know, having better community, having better connections, and everybody doing better through that. Maybe you're a leader of that type of new wave living mechanism. But anyway, also in the second week, I think you're being celebrated. I think you've done something. I think people might be really there to celebrate you, and that's really nice to see. Likelihood of a new nucleus as well, or a new type of central core of operation. So having a new energy source, having a new source of money, a new source of light, like a new relationship for some of you if you've been single for a long time. Also being very attractive, being very light, okay, higher vibration, higher health, beautiful. One of the best combinations of cards there. Week number 3, the Seven of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by the King of Wands. You don't need to block this new wind of creative energy. So you might be thinking, okay, I already have like my money made, or I already have the formula figured out. I don't need to like really create anything new. That's wrong. A lot of Leo energy doing well in the next paradigm deals with a new creative capacity, something totally new, something that you've never done before, starting to be expressed. So don't block. Right, Seven of Wands reversed is like saying, don't block this King of Wands energy. So this could also be a Leo, Sag, or Aries older masculine energy, more mature masculine energy. Don't block that. It could also just be you as a more mature creative. Don't block that. Okay, very important. Week number 4, Page of Swords rooted down by the Queen of Cups reversed. Other people. Okay, so correspondence from other people. You could be getting job offers. Also, you could be having colleagues come to you. There's a time of networking, which is weird for that time of the year. That's a time of year where people are usually resting. But through that could be interesting, though, to see that other people are reaching out to you, or that you have new new opportunities coming during this time of rest or during the holiday time. Also family stuff, right? Messages from the family, correspondence from the family, or from the mother, or from like the mother-in-law with Queen of Cups reversed. That could be coming up for some of you too. The fourth week needs to be a time of rest, though, also. Like, there's not energy there. It's so gray. It's so, like, light blue. It's so colorless. For example, the second week versus the fourth week. Try to gain back energy in the fourth week. Anyway, Leos, I'm going to do an extended reading for you. We'll get a central theme, 2 supporting themes, and a significator card. And I'll talk more about honoring the second week energy and also not blocking your new creative maturity coming through. So that will be linked below. I hope you all have a beautiful month. Subscribe and like this video if you get the chance. And let's do this extended. Have a beautiful, beautiful December. I love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.